Yesterday was a completely normal, sunny, little too hot day. I went to the school I will be attending to see if I could find out where buildings were and basic understandings of how things worked. It was honestly a gorgeous day. Then the next morning, while talking to somebody on the phone, I smelled the air, and it wasn't the same. It was kind of hickory scented, and I knew that fire season had finally begun. I went around and took some photos and videos just to show you what it's like. To me, this is just another season, but to you, it's brand new and it's kind of eerie looking, which really brings up two different subjects that I want to talk to you about. The first is that once you're dealing with something, you just grow accustomed to it. The second is how much this looks like a video game or some kind of dark noir movie. I've worked with people who've gone through really hard times, and they've always said the same thing to me. Oh, it wasn't that bad. To them, having life's little joys and being able to move on with their lives, even during great turmoil, just meant that this great turmoil wasn't that big. It wasn't that great. Even if it is making the news, there's still animals, there's still flowers. Life can still be good. So it's not that bad, right? So to me, all of this, it's just normal. I've had it happen every year. Whereas people out there, in other cities who have never had this, are freaking out. They don't know how to respond, because it's just brand new to them. To me, it's just the sign that fall is coming. Whereas my wife says,
I feel like I'm breathing dirt. I'm tasting dirt. Someone's got to fix this. This is so nasty.
I'll give you another example. In Yakima, Washington, at the beginning of every year, we have our year beginning murder. This is the murder to commemorate that the new year has begun. And that's how it's announced on the news, on TV. Well, we've had our first murder this year, and it's a big thing for us. Like, oh, the year has begun. We've had a murder. We didn't have a murder for 2 weeks, and we all kind of freaked out because, it usually happens within a day. What the heck is going on? Where's our murder? You grow so accustomed to something that you just can't see outside of it. So the tragedy and the horror and the weirdness just doesn't make any sense to you. So it becomes kind of weird to watch the news and hear about fires all over California when I'm accustomed to it, and I just don't think it's a big thing, and they're making a huge deal out of it. They're going, oh my gosh, look at this tragic, horrible thing that has happened. How could anything like this possibly happen to the good people? And I'm going, Happy New Year! This brings me up into the next topic, that of aesthetics. This kind of fog, smog stuff actually has a beauty to it. An amazing idea of kind of a darkness and kind of a eerie feel. But it just makes things a little more vibrant if you look at it. The dullness takes away, and then the green and beauty just kind of shows up on its own. The reason why I bring this up is there were actually games out there that used this kind of aesthetic to tell their story. It wasn't because they were doing it on purpose, it was because they had loading time problems. The N64 and the PlayStation 1 couldn't quite load polygons correctly, so they didn't really know what to do. So they put in a bunch of fog and a bunch of filters so that you couldn't see very well. This helped them make the videos and the games look really nice and move really smoothly. However, they started to improve the engines and make things look better, and they tried to remove all the fog and realized it didn't work. The fog was now part of the game. And that's kind of an interesting thing. There's a lot of games out there where they make it crystal clear to see, and it's like, no, you actually want a little smog there. You want a little difficult to view area. And because we have all these new graphical abilities, we miss out on having the smog, having that N64 feel to it. Kind of a weird thought. But then you see a shot of fog in the night, and you just want to go, oh, that is beautiful. That has a really nice aesthetic to it. I want to make photography out of this. By the way, that's a church, in case you're wondering. And you just kind of want to know more. It creates this nice mystery and desire to explore. The smoke adds filters. It creates new forms of lighting. And it makes you want to see more. Even though it's dark and it's difficult to figure out where things are, using the lighting and using coloring and using a bit of smoke to add atmosphere really adds to the aesthetic. It just creates this image in your mind of what it should be. And you kind of expect something to happen, something to pop up, some amazing thing, even though nothing's going to happen. In other words, I actually enjoy all this smog. I think it's beautiful. I think it really adds to the flavor, and it creates this new seasonal feel. Seeing this smog makes me go, oh, it's Halloween season. Time to look up scary movies, because it's kind of eerie out, and I just enjoy it that way. Even though my wife is freaking out, and I'm hearing all sorts of people freak out because they've got smog. And I'm just like, well, no, it's just that time of year. How are you responding to it this way? And I have to remember, they're new to this. Well, me, it's just a sign of the season, right? Happy New Year, you know?